Hello. Can everybody hear me? I guess sound check. Cool. Hey, nice. Hello. See, hello everybody. Hiya. Hello. Just today I watched this movie. Really? Wow, what a coincidence. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I love Kiki's delivery service. I actually think well, because I feel like this whole stream will be like just talk about Ghibli films. So maybe we'll save it till we start. But I hope everyone's doing really well, and I'm glad to hear that you're improving. Quite man. It's a very cool username. Ghibli movies. Yeah, Ghibli movies are great. I haven't seen their new ones, but yeah. So I'm pretty sure this is the one that everybody voted for. And like I checked it like half an hour before we started, and I feel like this is the one everybody voted for. So, or it at least has majority. I wonder, can I see how many votes went in? It doesn't say. Oh. I wish I could see how many people voted for like which one. I can see how many total votes we got, but I'm like, I wonder actually how many people. I see like some people saw Whisper of the Heart, which kind of like, wow, okay. I kind of threw that in there as like a last minute one, see if anybody would like vote for it. And at first nobody voted for Whisper of the Heart, and I was like, oh, well, I feel like that kind of makes sense. Not too many people saw Whisper of the Heart. So, yeah. You only seen how, yeah, a lot of people in the comments, I saw people being like, oh, where's Ponyo and where's Howl's Moving Castle? There's just too many Ghibli movies to pick from. So I kind of picked the most popular ones, and then I threw in one really, I guess, low-key one that I feel like not too many people have seen. I don't know. Whisper of the Heart, I feel like not too many people talk about that one, so I don't know. It was winning the race. Yeah, I mean, I wish you could see the results before you voted for, but I guess, maybe that way you don't skew the results. Whisper of the Heart is like, it's like a slice of life Ghibli film, I guess. It has like a very small fantastical element to it, but for the most part it's just a slice of life. Kind of about a girl going to school, meeting a guy who also goes to school. Yeah. It's just you and your mid part tonight. Mid part. What does that mean? Mid part. Well, it is just me. So if you guys were expecting Jesse, unfortunately it is not Jesse, it is me. Last minute kind of switch. So yeah, your heart. Oh, my hair is in the mid part. Actually, I mean, like, I guess you guys don't know what I look like unless you go to our website. I got a haircut, so I no longer have long hair. Yeah, because I had like a full-on long hair. Let's see, like, what is it? I had my hair kind of looked like this beforehand. If my hair was all down, my hair, my hair would look like this, maybe. So I decided, you know what? It's time to get a haircut. So now I have, well, what kind of hair do I? Honestly, I just go to the next door barber shop and I was just like, yeah, just cut it. And the guy gave me, I guess, what every kid is getting now as a haircut. I didn't even tell him specifically what kind of haircut I wanted. I was just like, yeah, just give me a haircut. And he gave me like this kind of haircut. I don't know. And he charged me for a long haircut. So, like, what is it? A short haircut? It's like just a local Chinese barbershop. I think it was like $13. But then he charged me $20 because it was considered long. But I was like, all you did was just cut it right off. So, I don't know. I didn't even ask him to trim it or anything. But, yeah. Yeah, but I guess it's still it's still split in the middle, you know? You know, it's still split right down the middle, but I didn't ask for it to be split in the middle. My hair kind of just likes doing its own thing. I don't know if anybody else's hair is like that. No matter what haircut I get, my hair is like, no, I'm gonna do my own thing. You can tell me what you want, but I'm gonna part like this, or I'm gonna move like that. So, yeah. How's pricing work? Yeah, I feel like he probably looked at me and was like, oh, this is a young man, so he's gonna get this haircut. And I was just like, yeah, sure, okay. I don't really care too much about haircuts. I know I have friends who spend like $50, $60 on a haircut, like a guy's haircut for $50, $60. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'll stick to my cheap $15 haircut. They used to be like $11, but what can you do? How am I gonna redraw it? That's a good question. So I'm not gonna redraw it. It's more of like a, I guess, how do we put it? We put it as a, is it? Let me check. Redrawing anime screen caps. So I'm just gonna be treating this as a study. It's more of like a 2-hour study, but then I guess I'll show you like the different processes and the different steps I take to repaint the background. So I picked this one because it was like really cool and there's a lot of things going on, but then I also realized that there's a lot of things going on. So yeah, I guess before we get started, I feel like it's a good amount of time. We'll just do some of the house cleaning and then we'll get started on the study. So hello, for those who are just joining us, we are Wing Canvas. We are a YouTube channel, as you can see, but we're also an online school that teaches a lot of the fundamental arts, a lot of cartoon classes, drawing and painting. So if you're ever curious about improving your own art skills, we do offer virtual classes where you can attend, and these classes are taught by our amazing teachers who are all, you know, very professional and we all have our own different kind of art skills and art kind of focuses, I guess you could say. For me, it's like the drawing and painting, and then I don't know if anybody's attended Iggy's, but Iggy is like our anime and cartooning guy, and then Jesse is our digital as well as a bit of cartooning as well. So they kind of split it between the two. And then Vanessa also helps out with our streams. So that's who we are. And if you enjoy the stream, feel free to like and subscribe our video. It really helps us out a lot. And you can also support us on Patreon. Every kind of dollar and support helps us make free arts education, helps us make these streams possible. So we really appreciate it when you guys do help us and support us. So thank you for those who do donate. And if you do decide to help us out on Patreon, we also have perks. And these perks gives, you know, access to some classes, to critiques, as well as some emotes on Discord. So hopefully maybe this is a bit of some incentive to check us out on Patreon. And we also have social media, so a lot of the artwork that we do on stream also go on our social media. So if you also kind of follow along and kind of do the Ghibli painting alongside me, feel free to post it on Instagram, Facebook, Discord. Feel free to tag us so we know that you follow along and drew alongside with us. But yeah, that's it for house cleaning, and so now we can get started. Yeah. So we all voted for Kiki's delivery service, and I do want to mention that I know I saw a lot of people saying like, where's Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind, where's Castle in the Sky, where's Ponyo, where's Howl's Moving Castle, of course. And here's the thing, I didn't know this, but YouTube only allows me to put like 4 images on the image poll. I guess I could have put in the comments for like, oh, if you like this one, comment this number or something so you can vote for more. But image poll wise, I was only able to put up 4 images, so that's why we only had this. And honestly, those other options are great too. Like Howl has some amazing visuals. Oh my goodness, there's let me see if I can pull it up. I looked up Howl's Moving Castle to see some kind of possible images of that I could draw, and somebody also mentioned like, oh, why don't you do Howl's room? Like, and I was like, have you seen Howl's room? I don't think I'd be able to paint that in 2 hours. I don't know if people have seen the movie before, but like, this is Howl's room. It's super dense. There's so many trinkets and objects all over the place. I don't think there's any way that I'd be able to paint all of that stuff, but it is a really, really cool room. So I totally get why people want me to paint Howl's room, but I feel like this is a good medium. There's a lot of things going on, and I really, really like Kiki's delivery service. It's, I think, my favorite Ghibli film. I don't know what the take is now on Kiki's delivery service, because I feel like before people were like, oh, Kiki's delivery service, but then now I feel I don't know what it's like, because I know the top 3, it's usually Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, and Howl's Moving Castle. I feel like those are the top 3 that everybody usually picks. You haven't seen a Ghibli before? Oh, well, you should go check it out. I don't know, actually, as a first recommendation, I don't know which one would be a good one to start off with, but definitely go watch one Ghibli film. I feel like you could dive into any and it would be interesting. Yeah, you know what? Maybe Spirited Away would be like a good first Ghibli film. Or Howl. Howl might be a bit long, I feel like. Yeah. Okay, so that's enough about like how we ended up coming to Kiki's delivery service. So I'm gonna start. I'm actually gonna just walk. I've already set up the file. So here is my reference photo, and then here is a mask. Is it a mask? I don't know. It's just so that I don't paint outside the lines. And then I'm gonna be painting on this layer. So maybe I'll just call this mask so I can. This is my paint. I'll call this blocking layer. Block layer. Okay, so I have my reference layer, as you can see on my, oh, our logo is kind of blocking it maybe, but on my layer panel, I have the reference over here, and then I have a mask, which basically just frames everything so that I just paint within this one, within the rectangle, and then my block is where I'm actually going to be painting. So I like to personally paint like this. It kind of makes it very organized, where I can see the reference still, but also not have to worry too much about painting outside the lines. So that's kind of why I like to do it. But yeah. Are you going to redraw the figure? Oh, yeah, that was a challenge. I tried to actually pick some photos where the characters weren't too prominent, but I ended up going with this one where Kiki's like right up front and center. I probably will just draw Kiki. Yeah. Does this channel still mainly use Medibang? It depends on the instructor, and it depends on like maybe what type of stream we're using, because sometimes I think we have some streams where we compared Medibang with Clip Studio, I think, and so we kind of jump around. I feel like our main three is, or maybe main four is like Clip Studio, Photoshop, Krita, and Medibang. I personally like Krita, so that's what I'll be using. It's free too, so if people want to try it out, that's cool. So, okay. Oh, and for those who are curious, like, okay, how did I figure out how large this white space is, like my painting area? What I did was I clicked on my reference image, and then I used the magic wand, and I just clicked outside. So now you can see there's like a selection marker around everything, and I just inverted it so that it's just the selection around Kiki's, and then I bucket filled it, and then I just shifted it over and then bucket filled everything around it. I'm not gonna go into it, but basically that's how I figured out the dimensions that I'm gonna be painting at. So the dimensions that I'm painting this this white painting space area is the exact same size as the Kiki's reference. So I'm gonna try to make it as close and as accurate as I can, but yeah. Super loyal to Medibang. Hey, you know, Medibang is great. I don't know, I just really like Krita, so I've been sticking with Krita for now. Where is my brush? Okay, is it this one? I'm trying to remember which brush I use specifically. It's this one. Okay, cool. So when I start off my paintings, I usually like to keep everything pretty zoomed out so I can still see my reference, and then I can also have my painting piece off to the side. I'll try to not have my avatar in the way, but yeah, and I usually will have the reference smaller than my actual painting, because that way I'm not comparing it one-to-one exactly. I feel like that can get, you know, I don't know, it makes me get caught up on like the size, so I'd like to have my reference smaller than my painting. I don't know, maybe it's just a me thing, but yeah. Actually, I realized I will need to save, so just give me a sec. I don't want it crashing on me and then I have to like restart the whole thing, so I'm gonna save it. Kiki, we'll just name this Kiki, and there we go. Okay, so I'm just gonna go on it, get right into it, and I'll try to keep an eye on chat as I'm painting. It'll just be like a really chill kind of stream, paint and chat kind of thing. Krita has more features than Medibang? Actually, I'm not too sure. I feel like they probably have around the same. It's just that they approach it than usual. Oh, is it? Okay, I'll turn down the music. Is that better? This music is also a little bit on like the higher end, so yeah. Okay, so I turned it down. Hopefully it's a bit better. Okay, so first thing I look for is maybe the overall color scheme. And so for this one, it's like a green teal kind of a background, and then it desaturates in the background. So what I'm looking at right now is the sky in the window. And for Krita, all the gradation settings are up here in this kind of box. And I'm gonna pick this one, foreground to background. And then I'm going to change my foreground color to this teal color. And I'm just going to eyeball it. So anytime I'm painting backgrounds, I like to ask myself, okay, what color is it? And I just try not to overcomplicate it. So I look at the color at the very, very top, like around here somewhere. I don't know if you can see my cursor. It's probably too small, but I kind of look around up here where the flowers are at the top, and I go like, okay, you know, they're kind of like a teal color. Ghibli films tend to make things a lot more saturated, so I'm gonna put it to the green, keep it a bit saturated, and then I'm gonna switch to my background color, and then the lower color, so where Kiki is, it's kind of like a lighter desaturated teal. So I'm just taking a guess, honestly. I don't know if it'll look good. I don't know if it'll be accurate, and I'm just putting it down here and I'm just gonna take a look at it, just like get a feel. And you know what? I think it's kinda close. Let's see. Maybe I'll up the saturation just like a little bit. Maybe a bit brighter. Honestly, we won't know until we block in everything else. And so, let's see. I feel like the desaturated color, I feel like I had it spot on. So I'm just gonna do it again. Maybe background color should be lighter. So I honestly, for me, I'm just figuring it out, getting a feel for it. Okay, that's good. I actually like this one. This one's good. Okay, cool. Has a bit more. Krita has a bit more features. Oh, you can also animate on Krita. So I think that's maybe like the one thing. Yeah. Do you sketch before painting? So if it's a background study, especially for a time, with the amount of time period that we have right now, I probably will just eyeball everything, but I'm still going to sketch it out. So if it's a background painting, I personally like to block everything in. So that's what I'm going to do. Actually, I'm going to change this to gradient block. And then we're going to make a new layer. And then this one will be my actual block. So I call this block because I like to treat this as a very rough pass, just figuring out where everything should go and how dark everything is. So the next thing I'm going to look for, so we got the background gradient, so the color of the window down, and next I'm going to try to figure out this framing area that's all around the window, and it's pretty dark. And my guess is that they kept it also within like the turquoise teal area, but it's really, really dark. So I'm gonna make it, let's say around here. And for me, if this is like a background study, oh, you had to bail out and restart? No worries. For me, when I'm doing studies like this, I don't like to eyedrop. I treat that as kind of like cheating a little bit. But, you know, I feel like if you're a beginner, if you really, really need the eyedropper as like a last minute resort, go for it. It's not a crime to use the eyedropper. But if you're really, really trying to improve, I would say don't bother with the eyedropper. Okay. I'm actually going to use the bigger brush here. Oh, and if anyone's using Krita, I am using the Sumi brush. Is it called the Sumi brush? What do they call you? Yeah, it's the Sumi brush and the dry brush. So these are kind of my go-to brushes when I'm doing background studies for large paintings. Just because they have a bit of texture to them, but not too much, and they cover a pretty decent amount of space. Okay. So this is the rough pass. I'm trying to keep it very, very, very simple. So I'm trying to capture the angle of the window pane, where the windows are positioned, and just roughly how much space this wall is taking up. So I'm kind of imagining, like if there was a shelf there, how much space would I need? It's a lot of eyeballing, unfortunately. And again, you can see like I'm keeping it pretty zoomed up, not trying to zoom in too much because I want to see everything as a whole. And let me see. Next, you know what? I'm going to simplify it, and the bottom portion is going to be all the greenery. So the thing when it comes to greenery is that they're usually not as green as we think they are. They're either in the bluer section or in the yellowier section. And because everything's kind of in a shadow and kind of dimly lit, I'm gonna assume that the artists went for a bluer side. So a cooler color gives it a feel that it's closer into the shadow. So that's kind of the vibe that I'm gonna go for. And yeah, I'm gonna block it out like here. So in the beginning, this is gonna look really, really bad. Not gonna lie, like when you first start out doing, or not like when you, like anybody specifically, but when I usually do the block-ins, they look really, really bad because they're just like flat colors. They're usually very saturated, and so right now, just keeping it very, very simple. Gonna move it back to blue, dark color, and now I'm kind of just mapping out where the plants are gonna be. Trust the process. Yes, exactly. Yeah. I think one time we did this for an assignment and it looked like a Windows 2000 background. So, yeah. Pencil for my phone. Fingers. Yeah, fingers probably not the best way to color things in. And for me, I don't worry too much if everything is like super, super correct or like in the absolute most accurate position. What I want to get down and make sure is that I have the overall feel of the background. But yeah. And again, I'm not playing too much with like colors or anything. I just want to roughly figure out where things are. So previously someone asked like, oh, do I sketch it out? And this is me sketching it out, kind of, I guess. I don't know if people want to call this sketching it out. But yeah, this is my way of doing it. Because we're going to paint over everything eventually. So there's no point in getting all the line work correct. There's no point in like drawing every single detail when eventually we're going to fill it in afterwards. So that's kind of my philosophy, is like, oh, what's the point of drawing in all the detail if we're just gonna paint over it anyways? So that's kind of why I don't bother like doing a full-on sketch. And yeah, so now I'm just slowly building things in. And I'm trying to keep an eye on the overall proportions and placements of everything, just making sure that, you know, if I need to change the proportions or anything, that I have enough space to do so. Okay, I'm gonna just quickly mark in these flowers, just so that I have an idea as to the proportions and how much space things are taking up. Of the early stages of any piece. Yeah, honestly, the process is always really cool to see. At least for me. I also really like looking at the process. Okay, so I'm just gonna go like, hey, you know, here's some big leaves. This is how much space they're taking up. And again, I'm just still using one brush. I'm just using the Sumi brush. Nothing fancy, nothing too over the top. Yeah, I'm gonna lower the opacity just a little bit, just to give it a bit more of a painterly feel, maybe. Because I want to see how much space I have, because I'm pretty sure I got the window size wrong. So I want to just make sure I have the correct proportions, roughly. Just roughly. Okay, this is the windowsill. And here's the edge of the window. And then here's the shelf. Here's another shelf somewhere around here. It's all messy. Yep, don't worry. You gotta go all in. Don't worry about it looking bad now, because cleanup comes later. Okay, let me see. We're gonna go for this color, but a little bit lighter. And this is the other windowsill. So the most important part that I do want to make sure that I get accurately first. Yeah, I know that I had just had like a whole spiel about like, don't worry about whether it's perfect, you know, make it clean, don't make it super clean. But the one thing that I would encourage to put in a little bit of effort in is the focus. So the focus for me is going to be Kiki. And so I want to make sure that I have this part properly placed and proportioned. So that's what I'm gonna do, is just make sure that I have enough space for her to be in. And let's see, we got the window. Okay, so the window part, this is gonna be interesting. I'm gonna put it in the yellowy part, and I'm gonna put it, it's like desaturated a little bit. And I don't know if anyone's ever done like background studies before, but things that are green are usually not actually green. They're usually on the yellow side, but it's all contextualization. So because our brain knows that they're greenery and that they're trees or shrubbery, when we see them, we automatically just go like, oh yeah, it's grass. I understand that that's like shrubbery, but we're painting it like orange or yellow kind of thing. So usually for greenery, try not to go like super into like the green section of the color spectrum, but you know, it's usually closer into either the blue or the orange and yellowy section. But again, every situation is a little bit different, so every kind of painting is a bit of a challenge in itself and everything. Okay. I'm just gonna take a break and check on chat. I'm going to bed now. Have a nice evening. Okay, bye Emily. Yeah, map out everything. That's a good way of putting it down. It's to map out everything, not worry about all the details and the complexity. It's cool to see the different values and what they can do. Yes, exactly. The more you paint and the more studies you do, the more you'll realize like nothing is what you think it is. And that's the tricky part, is you'll look at something and be like, that has to be green. I mean, it's a tree. And then you'll paint it and then you'll realize, oh, it's not green at all. It's actually orange or it's yellow, kind of a thing. So yeah, it's always so cool just to see like how our eyes perceive things versus what it actually is. So again, I am cheating a little bit by using like the lasso tool. If this was like a real life painting on like a canvas or an easel, like real life, like traditional painting, oh, so many mistakes have been made. But you know what? Like Joanne put it, it's all part of the process, you know. Just gotta trust it. Okay, so let's see, what else do I want to start? Okay, so this is maybe my quick block in, and then now I'll start to lightly, very, very heavy emphasis on lightly indicate where things are. So I'm gonna take this background color that we painted up top over here, and I'm just gonna lighten it a little bit, lean the spectrum over into the green because sunlight is hitting it, and I'm just gonna indicate the wall. I want to indicate that this is a wall for me. Let myself know what that is. And right now, again, also, I'm not worrying too much about color accuracy. It's a mixture of placing things down, mapping it out, but also just getting a rough feel for the colors. Because the thing with painting is that you don't know what something really will look like until you start painting it. So you might put a green down, and then you'll put another, I don't know, color down. Like right here, this color section that I'm working with, I was like, oh yeah, it looks pretty light. But then the moment I put it down, I realized, oh, it's really dark. And it's probably really, really quite over into the yellow side. So that's what I'm doing. And so a lot of times with colors and values, you won't know exactly what it'll really look like until you put them all down and you put all the colors next to each other and you get a feel for what it actually should look like. And that is what we call color theory. Because when different colors are put next to each other, they influence each other. They change our perception as we look at them with our eyes. There's a whole bunch of science to it. I'm not a scientist. I don't know exactly why or exactly what's happening with it, but it changes it, and that's all you need to know as an artist while you're painting, is just know that it affects the way we perceive things. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly, lightly mark these plants and things over here, and I'm just gonna make this part in shadow just so that I know it's in shadow. Come on, maybe make it a little bit darker. Maybe I'll swing it closer to the blue side even more. Art science. Yep, art science is pretty cool. It rattles the brain, but it's pretty cool. It's called quote-unquote roughing it in. Any tips for painting skin? Ooh, I think we had a video on painting skin, right? I feel like Jesse did a video on it. My tip for painting skin is try not to desaturate it too much. But again, it also really just depends on the lighting scenario you want to give. But try not to desaturate it too much, especially if it's like, let's say, a person out in the sun, or if they're in a really bright room. Try not to desaturate it too much, or else it'll give the person really a dead looking skin, I guess. It might give them a zombie type of feel. So I feel like we tend to get really scared when everything's saturated with the skin, especially when it comes to drawing people, because we're like, oh my goodness, we're drawing a person, we gotta make it like perfect. And the key is to just treat painting skin like how you would paint an environment. You can rough it in like how I'm doing it now for skin. Don't worry too much about like how accurate necessarily it looks, but just block it in, because that's all coloring is. Coloring in things, it's all about just figuring it out, getting a feel for it. And yeah, okay, so right now this pot that I'm painting, because it's in a green shadowy room, it's not very brightly lit. Even though my brain is telling me that this is a red colored pot or a tan colored pot, I don't want to. I'm bringing the color spectrum closer to the red, but it's kind of like an orangey yellow, and I'm desaturating it a lot. So that's how we cool things down and make it feel like it's better reflected by the environment. And maybe actually I might bring it all the way to the yellow on the really desaturated grayed down area, so that it feels like it's reflecting the greenery. So that's where the whole like our conception of what is actually there can trick our brain or our eyes, where our brain is telling us this is a red pot, but color wise it's actually on the yellow grayed down section. So that's just something that we'll just have to come down with practice and figuring things out. And as you draw more and more, you just realize these things, and that's why we say practice. You know, do the hard work, do the grunt work, unfortunately. And the more you do, the more you just like naturally learn things and everything. But you know, obviously some of these things are really hard to pick up unless there's like, I don't know, like a teacher there to guide you or someone to help you out. So that's why classes are great, because you get input from people who've already gone through it and know how to guide and help you out. So yeah, that's where I would say, like, you know, that's where classes come in handy and everything. That's one detail complicated scene. Yes, I brought this upon myself. to make a complicated scene. Okay, so next thing I'm gonna try to paint are these. I don't know what kind of plant this is, but when I'm seeing it, what I'm seeing is it's a purple looking color, right? But my brain, so my eyes are telling me it's a purple colored petal, but my brain is like, there's no way that I can use purple. So we're gonna try it out. So let's say I go to the purple, let's say magenta side of the color spectrum. My brain is telling me that it's a magenta looking color and it's pretty dark. So what happens if I put this down? Let's see. That's actually not too bad. You know, I trusted my brain, but it's a bit too saturated. So I'm actually going to move it back maybe to the red and desaturate it a little bit, and that'll give it a more purpley feel, a more yellowy feel hopefully, and maybe it'll be a little bit more accurate. And I feel like this maybe better represents, I don't know, in my mind it better represents exactly closer to how it is. So okay, by random number sequence, such an interesting name. Oh, and by Quiet Man. Everyone loves Sam Does Art. Who brought up Sam Does Art? How long have you been drawing? Do you still find it difficult to draw? If that question is for me, I've been drawing for quite a long time. Been drawing since I was a kid, but I feel like I didn't really start to take drawing seriously, like really seriously, until like high school. So, yeah. Not desaturate, but I want to draw vampires. Ooh, vampires, that's a cool one. Oh, you were saying bye to the Quiet Man. I want to say Quiet Man, but I realized that that's not the name. It's Quite Man. Vampires. Vampires are all about contrast. I love drawing vampires too. I feel like for vampires, it's all about the contrast of like the blacks and the whites, the paleness of the skin, and the blacks of their cloaks and everything. And usually they have like black hair and whatnot, so I don't know. So that's way too dark. I'm trying to paint this pot right now. I'm trying to get a general feel. So zoomed out wise, I would say that this is kind of turning out not too bad. Let's see, it's a bit on the bluish side. I want to paint these flowers and see how they turn out. They're quite bright and saturated actually, so I want to see if it works. That's kind of like the key, basically. You'll hear me saying quite a lot. It's like, let's see if it works. Because honestly, sometimes don't know if it'll work until you try it out. And that's the biggest hurdle I think most people just need to figure out and get over, is just to go in. Just gotta dive in and see if it works. Don't be scared if it doesn't. If you fail, it's kind of okay. I think like art is the one thing where you fail upwards, you know? Every failure is just a notch towards improvement, in a sense. Let's see, these pink, it's got these pinkish things on the bottom. Well, that's not too bad. It's pretty good. So I'm kind of treating this like a impressionistic painting, I guess you could say. Doing a lot of dots, a lot of just filling things in slowly. Yeah. I'm gonna go back to the green. So now I'm just gonna lightly fill in these shrubberies. We owe a lot to the impressionistic painters. I feel like, you know, doing a lot of stuff that essentially looks like this. A lot of, I don't know if you can hear my stylus just like going tuck 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 on my tablet. Is there something you still struggle drawing? Oh, I don't know if it's like struggle, but I don't naturally draw animals, so animals are not my strong suit, I guess you could say. Like if you were asking me to draw a horse, I wouldn't really know exactly how to tackle it right off the top of my head. I would need a lot of reference. I would need like just to see what it looks like. So I don't know. I don't know if that counts as something that I struggle to draw. Something that's always still challenging to draw is tricky angles for people, you know? Like if they're looking up or looking down or if their body's skewed, it still takes like a while to get a feel for it. Okay, so this pot over here, you know what, I think this pot is actually on the blue side, so I'm gonna paint it on the bluish, and then it has a very, there's light hitting it, kind of, in this way, so let's see, yeah, and then we'll get the shrubbery in. Oh, I just missed this other panel, totally did not see this other window frame that's like over here. Window's pretty wide, so I want to make sure that it's wide enough, kind of thing. Okay, yeah, that was pretty good. It's looking not too bad. I'm gonna borrow the color from the flowers and paint the sides of this panel that color, because it's being hit by like a brighter kind of color, so I want to give it that feel. Like, you know, like looking at the scene now, this is like a very oddly colored scene. I don't know if anybody else feels this way about it. It's really, really turquoisey, but it's a very 90s kind of a color scheme. It's kind of neat. Okay, and then every color inside here is this dark turquoise color. So that's why we had the gradation. The gradation I'm not going to really keep necessarily, but it was there to just quickly block it in and give me an idea as to what the colors might be, you know? So that's honestly really what I used it for, is to just get a feel for where things might be. Yeah, definitely trial and error. Like when painting backgrounds, it really is just getting a feel for, like, you know, is it heading in the right direction? Is it looking good? And then you just go along with it. It doesn't need to be perfect right off the bat. I think that's the misconception, is that it's like, oh, I should know everything from the beginning, but no, you don't. You know, you don't need to know everything right off the bat. Maybe the better you get at painting, maybe it takes you quicker to figure it out, but for the most part, I would say like most people don't know exactly how it should be painted until like they get going with it, kind of thing. Let's see. Yeah, there's this like really cool turquoise highlight that's happening underneath the flower pot. Just want to indicate it so that later on when I clean it up, I know that it's there. Just gonna paint these leaves in on this pot. Oh, this flower pot's way higher. I painted it way too high. Let's see. Somewhere around there. I feel like that's good. And then we have this giant, really, really saturated pine tree in the back? Actually, don't know. But yeah, Kiki's Delivery Service. Really love this movie. I'm actually happy that people ended up picking this one. I'm actually kind of surprised people didn't go for like Spirited Away or well, you know what? I didn't put Mononoke or Howl's. Maybe Howl's or Mononoke would have won. If I had put that one there, maybe that one maybe would have won out. But yeah. Let's see. Got there's a tree in the background. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really sure. It's this thing, right? On top of the flower pot? Don't worry, we will get to that when we do cleanup. This is essentially like a speed paint or a study. Just trying to capture it as quickly as I can. I'll be honest, I only watch Ponyo. Has anyone watched Ponyo? I think they're putting it back in theaters for a little bit. At least here in Canada. You can go watch it. And I was like, is Ponyo good? Should I watch Ponyo? Like, the animation looks really good, and some people wanted us to paint the Ponyo background. But I'd never watched it, so I don't know like what it is or what it's like. Man, this is some really saturated color. Yeah, just going along with what you said. I remember Ponyo was really good. I feel like it's the same thing with Totoro, right? Like, a lot of people watched it when they were kids. And then a lot of my friends watched Totoro recently and were like, yeah, not that it hasn't aged well, it's just like it's very clearly a more kids-oriented film. And so, like, I don't know. It wasn't as good as they remembered it being. So I wonder if, like, Ponyo is on the same spectrum, where it's good, but not as good as people remember it being. Worth watching? Are we painting this one in one layer? Oh yeah, it's one layer, so it's just been this one block layer. We've been calling it my block because it is setting up the framework for the entire painting. I don't ever want to get into cleanup until I have the block like down, kind of thing. Because if I don't have the block down, I'm gonna have to do a lot of tweaking in the final one. So that's why I am just worrying more about the block right now. It's all about the block. Okay, nice. I feel like, yeah, it's kind of slowly coming together. I'm gonna try to guess what color the background is behind Kiki. Let's see, maybe we'll go with a more yellowy green. Like this color in the back, kind of hard to tell what it is exactly. So this gradient background, you might be like, okay, why did we even bother with it? And the point is because, like we mentioned with color theory, colors change when they start interacting with each other. So I quickly put down a gradation to get an idea and figure out what the colors are overall in the background and how they'll influence everything in the front. A bit darker maybe. This might actually be a red, like a grayed down red. Yeah, actually, maybe a bit more on the orange side. Okay, and then we'll bring this green over, maybe a bit lighter. Bring it over, a bit more on the teal side, a bit more saturated. And yeah, let's just fill this area in. And you can see that I haven't zoomed in or out or rotated at all, because the key to this is to see everything all together. You don't ever want to keep zooming in and out when you're doing a blocking, because it'll just, you know, there's no point. So I want to make sure I can see everything. Everything is in view. And you can see that for this flower, it's pretty much on the green, like the orange and red side at first. And it kind of works until we get to the shadowy section of this plant. So once we get into the more shadowy part, then I'll start bringing it over to the green, but I will have to desaturate it, maybe. Saturate it a little bit, just to make sure it works. Are you gonna add more detail? Oh yeah. So let's see, how far? We got 1 more hour. So it took us 1 hour to block everything in. And now I hopefully will have some time to add a bit of detail. Yeah. It's gonna be speeding through this. So if you like squint your eyes and look at it, it should you can kind of see the room slowly coming together. I like to think about, I guess, painting like a photograph where you slowly are bringing things into focus. And things are slowly coming together, you know. And let me see. What color can we draw from? I like this one's pretty good. Okay, so we'll use this one. We're almost there. I just want to make sure everything's in its proper spacing and everything. So that's what I'm doing here, is just to make sure everything is in its proper place. So remember, I don't know if people were here when I said this, but it's going to look kind of ugly, I guess, really messy and really all over the place. So if you like jumped in, it's like, does this guy know how to paint? Like, does he know what's going on and what he's doing? And the thing is that it's gonna look that way when you do background. For me, I like doing it this way because it takes the stress out of making sure everything looks perfect from the beginning. And by doing this, I don't have to worry about it being perfect. I just have to make sure that things are roughly in the correct spot, and then I can fill it in afterwards. And the other key thing that I'm making sure that I have right is the lighting, roughly, just an overall lighting, making sure that I got the right colors, because I'm going to be using these colors to draw from, essentially. I'm going to be color picking a lot. And using these colors and just slowly blending everything together. So that's going to kind of be the process and what's going to happen. So let's see, this thing is over here. It's definitely not that color, definitely not that saturated. And another one maybe around here, and another one like kind of there. Whoa, do you guys ever think about the saving piece multiple times? I mean, it's recorded, so you can always just scrub through the video that way and see how everything is kind of flowing. Yeah, like what Schmidt said. Just gonna call you Schmidt. Disney marketed the film. Oh, okay, I'm just gonna catch up. Just gonna take a break. The short one. Worth watching. Ponyo's worth watching. I know the animation is beautiful, so maybe I will check it out. I did have a moment where I was watching a bunch of Ghibli films, so that's where I watched Whisper of the Heart, and that's why that was one of the options to vote for. But yeah. Oh, I flopped here in the States? Oh. Yeah, I think Disney is usually the one that pushes a lot of the Ghibli films. Oh. You know, I do, like, sometimes go into some of the film, like, the Ghibli films, going like, okay, this is, maybe it was directed towards a younger crowd, so I go in with that, like, expectation, and sometimes I end up enjoying it. I don't know if people have watched, like, Princess Kaguya. Is it called Princess Kaguya? Like, that one is not the most, like, exciting film, but it's really, really beautiful. Yeah. Oh, okay. Thanks, Kiwi. Hopefully you are able to make it back. You don't think of this being recorded. Do more of these, but spirited away. You know what? If people really want us to do more of these, I don't mind. I mean, like, originally it was going to be Jesse doing these, but I'm pretty sure that we wouldn't mind doing more. Yeah, that way we can. There's so many Ghibli backgrounds to paint that are all like really, really good. So, yeah, I mean, I think it would be cool to do more. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to it, and I'm gonna paint Kiki this time. Let's see, Kiki is wearing a dark green sweater, I think. It looks like it's a dark green. Maybe a bit, we can make it a bit darker. I know I said that we'll clean this up and add more detail, but it really will be dependent on how much time we have, because it's a lot. There's a lot to paint in this piece, so we'll see where it goes. Okay, feels like it's like a desaturated pink. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It's pretty accurate. And then for her face, I'm just gonna block it in roughly with a circle, like I would if I were painting like a person. Just roughly blocking it in. She's leaning in. And then just gonna paint in the hair. Actually, I don't know what color they gave her hair. I'm just gonna assume that it's on the red side, maybe? Red side, but really, really dark. And just go in like this. I'm sorry, Kiki. I am doing your face an injustice. Just gonna like focus. It's like focus mode right now. Just like, okay, figure out how much space this is taking. So this is why I like to treat it like still treat it like a painting. Just figure out how much space it's gonna take up, roughly how light and what the colors are gonna be, and just go in at it. Don't worry too much about like how accurate it is, but just go in and paint it out. Okay, yeah, I think that's good. That's roughly where she would be, and then we gotta give her that iconic red bow. It's really, really saturated. It's so bold. I also love the character designs in Kiki's delivery service. Like, it's so, they're so simple, but they're so clean. It's so good. Let's see. It's angled, kind of like this. Something like that, I think. Okay, just gonna shift this wood beam over a little bit more. I feel like I keep shifting this wood beam over. This poor wood beam is just never in the right spot. Okay. It's a bit messy. Less for the eye to looks very hand-drawn too. Yeah, yeah. Okay. What's your favorite Ghibli character among all the movies watched? Favorite character? Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. What's your favorite character? There's so many characters to pick from. I feel like it's a cop-out if I say it's Kiki. I feel like a lot of people love Howl or the Spirited Away characters. People really like those characters a lot. I don't know. That's a tricky one because there's so many good characters. Okay, I'm gonna switch up my brush now. So the whole time I've been using just one brush and one layer, and this is kind of clean up now where I want to hone in more on the colors, make sure they're a little bit more accurate, and my placement is a little bit closer. Yeah, I want to say Kiki. I don't know. I feel like she's a good character. Oh, Princess Mononoke. I feel like a lot of people like the characters there. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many characters to pick from. It's a good... I feel like you can't go wrong with any of the characters from Ghibli. They're all good. I know, it's like a cop-out. It's a cop-out answer. Okay, it's definitely not that color. Maybe it is a bluer color. Let's see. It's a tricky one. This one is definitely throwing me a little bit, throwing me off. Not too sure what color this light area is exactly. San from Princess... San. That's like the wolf princess, right? The main character. I've seen Princess Mononoke like a few times, but I always forget the names of the characters. Not great on the name department. I am not. Maybe I'll keep it at this brush for now, so I can get some like sharper points. Yeah, I'm kind of, I guess, slightly approaching this like a impressionistic drawing, because with how much time we have, I don't really think there's any way to really go all in on this piece, but I'll try. Let's see. Okay. It's essentially like a study, which is also still a really good practice to have, of just doing quick studies, not spending too much time, and then seeing how much you can do and how well you can capture the pieces. Let me see. This brighter color. Okay, something like that, maybe. Mine was the Cat Gentleman. Oh! It's the cat from Whisper of the Heart, right? But then they made a spin-off movie from Whisper of the Heart, where it had more of the cat characters. The window frames Kiki's face. Ah, yeah. And it also helps that red and green are complementary colors. So they stand out in that way, you know, with complementary colors, red and green. I guess that's why everything just has this really turquoisey haze to it, so that Kiki's bow really stands out, kind of a thing. Yeah, I've found that like doing a lot of Ghibli studies is that they really love their turquoise colors. Turquoise and teals, like they love those colors. Because it gives it a more fantastical feel, I guess, in terms of like, because they paint so much nature that it makes sense to have these very over-the-top colors and feel in their greenery. See, I think if I were to make sure something that I get down, I think would be like the lighting. Make sure I have like the darks and the shadows really emphasized and done, or at least done as best as I can, because there's a lot going on in this scenery. And this is on a new layer, so if I do mess up the colors, I can always just turn off visibility on it and check what colors I had beforehand. So yeah, it's not too big of a deal. For me, at least, I feel like it's not that big of a deal if I mess up, because I can always just turn off the layer, see where I was at, and see how I can adjust it. You guys listen to music when drawing? Yeah, I've been really liking just lo-fi. I feel like that's such a cop-out answer too. Lo-fi music. It's just like not mindless. Mindless makes it sound so like no credit to the people who work on those music, but it's just so simple and clean that, you know, it's easy to listen to. Let's see. Gonna go for this color and drop it down a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. Lo-fi is like a good one for me. Good music to just have in the background and not have to think about it too much. Let's see, I think we might have to go darker. On these leaves. There's some really dark leaves. And we'll use this color, bring back some lightness to them. Oh, anybody gonna go watch that new Suzume movie? That new, I don't know if people have watched, what is it, Your Name, or Weathering with You, like that studio or that guy made a new film. So it's coming out, well, I guess it's out already, it's out today. Officially. Yeah, lo-fi is just easy on the ears. Yeah. I mean, I listen to just what I'm feeling. Sometimes feeling rock, sometimes feeling lo-fi. So, yeah, rock's good too. I like rock. Got movies for tomorrow. Awesome. Yeah, I watched it yesterday on opening night. It's pretty good. It's like a good visual and animation. Story was okay. It definitely is a bit overly complex, but it's still good. I liked it. And the music is really good too. I don't know if people have seen the trailer though, but I think I have a theory with the theme song that they used for the trailer is that it was too good and people liked it so much that they kept it in the movie. But I think while they were making the movie they realized like Oh shoot, this song doesn't actually match our movie. It's still a really good track though, but I feel like it doesn't really match the movie, unfortunately. Your name is so good. Oh yeah, your name is really, really good. Crying a lot? Yeah, I feel like a lot of people cried for your name. I still need to watch Weathering with You. I have not watched it. People said it's not as good, but the animation is really, really nice, so do want to check it out. But your name is... I feel like your name is just so good. It has such a good concept, and it's such a simple premise that you can't really go wrong with your name, you know? It's just it's solid. Is a sequel to Weather? Oh, is it actually? Oh. Okay, that's interesting. My friends that I watched it with, they didn't say anything. They've watched Weathering with You, but they didn't mention anything where it was like, oh, that looks like is the reference to Weathering with You or anything. But I don't know. Maybe they just didn't remember it. I do need to watch Weathering with You, though, because I feel like I want to just check it out. Heard so many good things about the animation and everything. I want to see what the hype is about, or lack of hype. I don't know. Watch. Waiting on the anime Spider. Oh, the Spider-Man movie. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Do you know what sucks is that I feel like I wanted to go in not seeing any of the trailers because I was like, okay, I'm gonna go watch it regardless, so I don't need to see anymore. And then in front of the Suzume trailer or Suzume movie, one of the trailers was for Spider-Verse, and I feel like they showed a little bit too much. I would have liked not knowing some of the things, but it looks so good. I can't wait to go see that. That movie is just, it's so good. That's all you can say about it. It's just like, it's so good. There's nothing to say about it that everybody hasn't said about the movie. You know. You know what? I'm gonna use some of the pinks from her, I don't know what it is, blouse? I know nothing about clothing, so if it's not a blouse, you'll have to forgive me for my clothing ignorance. I don't know anything about clothing, but the pink from her clothing, I'm gonna pick that to use for the flowers. Forgive me for my clothing, lack of clothing knowledge. All his movies in the same, so I can drown out trailers. Are you gonna wear headphones to the movie theaters? Oh man. Yeah, Weathering with You, I will check it out. Everybody keeps telling me to watch it, so I just need to find the time to watch it, you know? But I will. It's definitely a movie I want to check out. But yeah, the Spider-Man movie, oh my goodness. Yeah, I wish, you know, my sister just like looked away from the screen when they were playing the trailer, because she doesn't like to watch trailers anymore, and I'm like, yeah, I get that. For some movies I still like to see trailers, but for her she was like, nope, not gonna look at the screen while the trailer was playing. Let's see, got some shadows under here for this plant. Let's see how much time we got. A decent amount of time, I feel like. We're doing okay on time for like a quick speed study, I'd say. We are doing okay. Maybe this is just me coping. Like, yeah, I can finish this. I can make this look halfway decent by the end of it. Let's see. What you gotta do is just really squint your eyes as you're looking at this painting, and it'll look good. You're like, yes, it does look like the reference. It looks exactly like the reference. And just try to add the subtle shadows every now and then, here and there, for the piece. Add more shadows. Want to make it really feel like it's in the dark. Oh, and if anyone is curious about the music, I will put the credits for the music after the stream. So if people want to check out the music, it's from this site that we use a lot for our streams called De Novo Syndrome, I think. And yeah, I'll put the credits there maybe sometime soon. So if people want to check out the music, that's where we get it from. Okay, just adding a little bit more detail as we move on, as we kind of go in. I feel like it's slowly coming together. I think, you know, if I had, like, you know, another hour or so, we could get in a pretty good, pretty decent sketch going on. I'm gonna make this window pane a bit brighter, maybe a bit more on the blue side. Let's see. How does this look? No, it's not looking quite there. It's kind of a weird color because I'm like, it looks yellow. Maybe I just gotta gray it down and then brighten it. It's just one of those color theory things where we're just gonna have to see how it's working. Okay. I think it's June. I have like a whole list of movies that I want to see this year. Ooh, like the new Dune movie, the Barbie movie. I don't know if anybody wants to go see the Barbie movie, but I'm excited to check out the Barbie movie. But yeah, like, was it Dune? That one's very excited for. That one was so good. Watching that in IMAX. Spider-Man movie, I think. Let me check. You know what? I'll check it later. But I think it's coming out in June, July, maybe, somewhere around there. Oh, that pot is like white. Look at that edge of that pot. It is like white, practically. That's interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, just gonna fill in the vegetation that's here. A lot of these colors are very close to each other in value and saturation, so they actually kind of blend in with one another, even though they're all just a bunch of different patches of colors and everything. It's really cool. And I think that's why I love doing studies, is that you get to learn a lot from these painters. You get to see their painting process, essentially, and you kind of recognize, like, oh, you know, that's how they captured that aesthetic, or that's how they captured this look by coloring it this way. So that's why I love doing these studies. And that's how you can learn a lot. So if you want to ever recreate a certain artist where you're like, you know what, I like their art style, I want to capture it, just do a study of their painting and learn. That's how you learn from their approach and everything. Add the white over here to the window. Add a bit of white here. think it's on the bluer side, actually. June 2nd? Oh, man. One more month. Oh, okay, not one more month. Like, a month and a half, almost. Yeah. I believe it's an apron. You know what? Yeah, I guess it is an apron. Oh, okay, I saw that comment previously about, like, in the same universe. So, like, Weathering with You, Your Name, and Suzume, they're all meant to be in the same universe. That's cool. Yeah. It's just like a master's study. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A lot of ways people learn how to paint is by studying the masters. That's one way to do it. Just gonna slim down this pot a little bit. A lot of grays. And we're gonna gray down this pot on the edge. Cool. I don't know what these are. Like, these pots, like, they're very, very subtle. Like, they're there, but it's really kind of extra. It's really subtle. Like, if you just look at it, it's just one paint stroke there, and voila, you got a pot. And I'm gonna add one more line, I guess. And then we'll make this pot. Oh, this pot is pretty dark, so go for dark shadow here. We'll get some leaves. She's wearing a dress from the start. Yeah. Oh yeah, speaking, I mean, I was talking about it a bit earlier, but like the character designs for Kiki's delivery service is so good. Like, they're so simple. I remember the first time I watched it, and like the mom's design, I don't know how else to put it. It's just clean. It's so clean. It's so good. And same thing with Kiki. It's just literally red and then like a dark purple, dark black, and it's memorable. Everybody knows it. You see that silhouette, and you're like, oh yeah, that's Kiki. You know? It's so good. It's so good. I feel like I spent so much time on this pot. Why am I spending so much time on this pot? Okay. Gonna do this. I don't even know what this is. This little dark patch over here. Just gonna soften it up because it's pretty soft on the reference. Yeah, at this stage, it's still kind of what I would call cleanup, where I'm still keeping it rough, but now I'm honing in a little bit more on where things should be and just the smaller details. And then afterwards, I'll do it on another layer and make it even cleaner and more intentional for where things should be. Because right now, everything's still very brushy and very like loose and not super clear as to like what things are, and so it's definitely in that realm of just still figuring it out, but now we're honing it. So the first phase was the blocking, but now it's getting closer and closer to the honing in, is what I like to say. The honing in phase, figuring things out. And it's just a lot of eye dropping and blending. I have my brush opacity at like, what is it, 70, so it's not too low. And then I have a textured brush, that way it's not like too clean, because I find that if I just use a normal synthetic digital brush, it's too clean. Too clean for my liking, at least. So I like to have it a textured brush, so it has a bit of some imperfections to it. So yeah, there we go. Slowly progressing forward. Not looking too much like a Windows XP desktop background anymore. Hopefully. And I'm just gonna darken this and add these things. You can see I'm not really worrying too much about the window like the smaller grids, because those things you can always paint in very quickly afterwards, so I'm not worrying too much about that. And I'm just worrying about the overall placement of things like the shrubbery, the vines, and the values. So blocking was just to make sure the placement of things were accurate, and now it's getting closer to, I'm trying to hone in on like what the colors are actually supposed to be. So I'm paying more attention to the colors and the values and just blending it in just like a little bit more, at least a bit more intentionally than I was beforehand, because now it's when I really got to make it work. I'm still, I guess you could say, approaching it very impressionistic wise, but with a bit more intention, I guess you could say. I'd use your draw over as a desktop. It's cute. Oh, cool. Thanks. Yeah. Oh, Renfield. Oh, Renfield. Oh, yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy. Definitely gotta watch that. Renfield, I'm kind of like not too sure if I want to see it, but so far everybody's been saying it's really, really good. Let's see. I'm here. Hello. Hello. I love Kiki's messaging, but it's a bit weird because of the climate. Yeah, I think that's like the one downside to the movie. As much as I love the movie, the ending's a bit odd, I guess. It feels like it comes out of nowhere, for sure. Yeah. Because it has such a good setup of characters and like her struggles, but then at the end it's like, there's a blimp. It's crashing down. Oh, whoops, sorry, I guess spoilers for Kiki if no one's watched it yet. But yeah, the ending's a bit odd, for sure. Ooh, it is not, it is just a really, really saturated. Such an interesting combinations of colors, I love it. Okay, I'm gonna clean up this window pane. This pane of a window. Let me see. We'll pick this color. I should probably make a thinner brush, but I'm too lazy to make the brush thinner. I'm just gonna do it by hand. I'm just gonna eyeball it, which is something I would probably advise against doing. You know, I'm doing it for the stream. But I would not suggest doing it the tough way. I don't know why. I mean, it would be easier for me if I didn't do it like this, and if I just made the brush smaller, it would make it 10 times easier on my end. But I don't know why. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stick it out, and I'm not gonna make my brush smaller. Stubbornness of an artist, I guess. A bit brighter. I want to capture these flecks of highlights on the shrubbery, I guess. Now I'm gonna make this a bit more saturated because Ghibli loves saturated turquoise, it seems. And it's pretty bright white here, so I'm gonna make it white. Here I'm gonna make it white too. And we're gonna make this part. Okay. Whew. I'm also terrible with passwords. What? Where can I find your art? The way you draw is really pretty. Oh, thank you. If you go on our website, my Instagram is there. I don't have my Instagram on me like right now, but I actually don't paint like this in general, but when I do background studies, I do paint like this. Yeah. Where's your Y? What? I'm back. Oh, hello. Interesting. A little bit. Okay, let's see. Where am I at? Oh, we got half an hour left. Oh my goodness. Will I? Probably won't be able to finish this, but thanks for everyone sticking around as I like do this study. But yeah, I guess I'm treating this very impressionistic wise, very subtle, not trying to overdo it too much. I feel like I maybe would do Kiki on another layer just so that it's easier for me to do cleanups and things like that. For sure. Because it is hard trying to paint a background with leaves and foliage, but then also keep track of like a person, like a character. So, yeah. And let me see. For here, maybe kind of like there. Something. And let's see. Yeah, I think if you enjoy the art of any of our teachers, all our Instagram handles or other places to find our art is on our website. So you can check us out that way. If you ever were like, hey, you know what, let's see what else this teacher or this person can draw, we have our own personal stuff out there too. So yeah, personal plugs. Yeah, but for backgrounds, I don't typically paint like this. This is more for backgrounds. For me, when I paint characters though, it's definitely more focused on line work and such. So yeah, it's kind of odd. I also have like an inconsistent art style, so I paint kind of a little bit of everything in terms of approach. It's a bit all over the place. Let's make it a little bit darker, maybe a little bit more saturated for her apron. I was gonna say tank top, then I realized that's not what it is. It's not a tank top. Kiki wearing a tank top. That is, yeah, that would be interesting. But yeah, Kiki is probably my favorite out of all the Ghibli films. Second favorite might be Mononoke, maybe. I don't know what would be my third. I haven't watched Nausicaa in a really long time, and I haven't watched Castle in the Sky in a long time, but I remember really loving those as a kid. So I don't know, maybe they're still good. They're still hold up. Let's see which color. Yeah, so I'm just kind of adding a bit of specks, basically more specks. Just adding a lot of specks, adding a lot of bits everywhere. Really? Oh, the Ghibli Museum? How's that? How's the Ghibli Museum? Was it also, how was it binge watching a bunch of Ghibli movies? Was it fun? Because I mean, they're not all created equally, I guess. That'd be cool. Yeah, I would also love to go to Japan one day. That'd be really cool. That'd be really nice. But I hear it's really expensive. Or you gotta go on like the right days, maybe? The correct days, or else the plane tickets are really, really expensive. Music plays a big role. Oh yeah, the music is very like iconic for sure. It's almost like if you hear a particular type of approach to the music, you instantly just go like, oh, Ghibli movie? Ghibli movie. I was really tempted to buy, like, I collect records, and I was really tempted to buy some of the Ghibli soundtracks, but I feel like as much as I do like them, none of them really stick out in my mind in any way, but I feel like maybe I just gotta watch them again. Ooh, that's too saturated. Like, I know they're good, but I feel like I gotta listen to it a little bit more. Well, with that being said, though, I do really like Kiki's soundtrack, or at least like one of the tracks is really good. I do really like that. Let's make this a bit darker. Give it a little bit of the shadow. $8,000 for flight hotel. Oh, you know, that doesn't sound that bad. Did you go on like a nice cheap, or like a cheaper period? Like, I actually don't know. I haven't ever looked at the pricing for the tickets, just because no time and everything. But I wonder what's like the most ideal time to go to, like, Japan, if there is an ideal time to go. What would be the most affordable time period to go to Japan? Okay, I'm just trying to make her head proportion feel a little bit better, I guess. I feel like now that I added the shadow on her face, it actually makes it a lot better. So much better. Oh my goodness. It's like really coming together. I'm so afraid to add the eyes. I'm not going to add the eyes just yet. Even then, even I can get a bit intimidated in adding the face sometimes. So we'll save the face for later. But yeah. Shoot. Oh, so much. Half of the flights in hotel just before cherry blossom season. We'll go see some. Oh, I hear cherry blossoms don't last that long, because we have some here in Scarborough, but they last for maybe like 3 days, and then they already start falling. So I'm curious. And oh, okay, it depends on what you want to go see. Japan in the city's quite expensive, but worth it. Okay. Autumn? Okay. Yeah, I hear summer in Japan is really, really hot because it's really humid, but I haven't looked too much into it. But that is what I hear. I really love how bright these yellow flowers are, so I kind of want to at least get them in before we have to end. Got like 15 more minutes. Maybe I don't know, we'll see. Maybe if I want to go a little longer, I don't mind. But yeah, I know, actually, I don't know. It's kind of up to Joanne. I don't know, because I know, Joanne, you need to like upload stuff. Probably best not to go over. Joanne's like, I got stuff to do. I got places to be. April is the cheapest flights to Japan. Oh, actually? Oh. April, okay. March, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm kind of curious as to, like, I guess because it's a very odd time to go to Japan during that time period, because it's like school season, and April and March are typically, I don't know why I said it like that, typically they're not days people have off, I'm guessing. So that's probably why. Yeah, me, my cousin, and my sister, we are like, we should go to Japan. Especially my cousin. My cousin's like, we need to go to Japan. And he keeps sending us like these flight prices. And I'm like, okay, yeah. One day. You know what? It's like not too bad. I'm pretty happy with this so far. It's like coming together bit by bit. I wonder, is there anyone here who's like doing this alongside me? I'm kind of curious if anyone's doing this, like a study as well. Let's see, some of the flower bits. Definitely got the proportions just slightly off a bit, but he's fine. It jumped on late. Ah, that's okay. If you've seen Up on Poppy Hill, the clubhouse is modeled into the inside of the main bit. What? The museum is an artwork itself. Oh, okay, that seems cool. Oh, you can't take photos? Oh, interesting. I'm not going to the museum and not going to the cafe. Huh. Oh, it's a 2-hour wait for the cafe? Oh my goodness. And taking notes? Hey, that's cool. That's cool too. And this part, I feel like, is probably a bit brighter. Make it a bit brighter here, and this part probably a bit more saturated, maybe a bit brighter. And this part is definitely way lighter over here. I don't know why I didn't make it like white almost, because it's essentially white up there. I still don't really know exactly. Oh, it's the rooftop. I think that's the roof of her house, but there's just shrubbery growing inside of it. I don't know. That's very interesting. Because I'm like wondering, what is this thing in the background? Like, what is this? What is this? Because it doesn't look like a tree. At first I was like, oh, is it a pine tree? Like what is this? And now that I'm looking at the shape of it, I guess it's the roof of the house. It's kind of odd. Very strange. For sure. Yeah, the Ghibli films love their teals. Oh my goodness. I guess that's what makes their kind of paintings stand out, is that it kind of breaks the convention, because usually you don't go this saturated with like greenery and this green with greenery, but it definitely is very iconic, makes it stand out like a lot. And then there's some darks, give it some depth. That's how we're gonna give the greenery some depth. Have your lights and everything, and give it some specks so that these parts stand out. And this part of it is pretty light. Let's see, got the ridge edge of the basket, and then we gotta have the light part might be even brighter. It is also a very interesting blend of colors. It's very dark, and it kind of like swings back into the teal for sure. So a pagoda? Oh. It's not the roof filled with, it's the roof filled with grass. Ah, yeah, so that's probably what it is. Yeah. A pagoda. I don't think Kiki is more based on like European architecture, I think. So I don't think there's any like Asian architecture in the movie. I don't think. It's really cool. I don't like the behind the scenes for it. They show which like town they based the movie on. Is really cool. like it's a real town that kind of looks almost exactly like the town that Kiki ends up in, but it's definitely, they've tweaked it a little bit more, obviously, but it's pretty cool how they based it on a real like place, like a real location kind of thing. Yeah, I got the I'm pretty sure you could probably find it on YouTube though. It's more like a tour video, like a tourist video on like the location they went to. I don't know if anyone's ever watched like Asian tourist videos before, but it's kind of like that, but for where they film or where they drew inspiration from for Kiki. It's not really a behind the scenes, but it's kind of cool just seeing where they got the inspiration for the town from. Western countryside? Ah, yeah. Could be a hanging garden of some kind. Oh, that's true too. Yeah. The kid playing in the museum, they have a massive cat bust, but the kids could play on it. Oh, cool. Yeah. I wonder if they like, do they still have that just because of COVID? I wonder if they like restricted, if they ended up restricting any of the activities that you can do. Because I know Japan's pretty strict when it came to like the COVID regulations, I guess. I don't know what you would call it, but yeah. Because it took them a while before they were like, okay, people can come in to our country for tourism. So oh, cool. Oh, you're from Sweden? Oh, nice. Hey, that's cool. Got a fellow Swede. Is that what Swedish people are called? Swedes? Oh, cool. Are there any like recognizable places in the movie where you're like, oh, that's straight up, they just took that from like this part of the city kind of a thing? Or is it more of like abstract where you're like, oh, it kind of looks like it, but not exactly kind of thing? It's like how comic books are based on like New York or Chicago for like Batman. So you wouldn't ever be like, oh yeah, that looks exactly like that part of New York, but you can get a feel, kind of. Is your house in Kiki? Oh my goodness, can you imagine that? You go like, yo, that house looks oddly familiar. Oh my goodness, it's my house. They just, the artist just took my house design, because it's just so good that they're just like, yeah, we'll just use your house. That's pretty cool though. Is Kiki delivered to you? That's funny. Let me see, how much time? Oh my goodness, we only have like 8 minutes left. Oh my goodness. How time flies. Let's see. What do I want to tweak before we end? I don't know if I want to add the shadows in. I gotta pick and choose what I want to adjust. Let me see. Maybe this area. I can adjust this. And this part be a bit lighter maybe. And we'll just blend. We'll blend this in. Do you live next? I did a Kiki cosplay in the city on a street similar to... Oh, that's so cool. That's really awesome. I didn't know, like, even watching that video, for some reason never clicked in my head, where it's like, oh yeah, that's where people actually live, and I wonder if people ever watch the movie and be like, hey, that's my neighborhood, or that's definitely based on that part of the street, kind of thing. What she can carry. From green blocks to a full study. Hey, yeah, thanks, Joanne. Here, we can do a little review just to like show you what it started off looking like before. So remember when we started off, this is what it looked like. We started off with a green gradient, and then we had this. It was a lot rougher. And then now we added a lot more detail and cleanup to it. It's still definitely, you know, could use a lot more for sure, but considering for 2-hour study, yeah, I would say, not too bad. Not too bad. Yeah. I'm just, when it comes to art, you gotta hype yourself up too. It's like, yeah, it's doing great. It's doing amazing. It's looking so good. And just a little bit more. Oh, these yellow ones. Oh, there's so much to paint. Oh my goodness. Here, let's just at least get these shadows going real dark in here. Real dark on the corner. You're gonna have to add the eyes. No, we can't add the eyes. It'll ruin the piece. Are you from Canada, Joanne? Yup. Yeah, we are based in Canada. I would say majority, I think all our teachers are based in Canada, I think. Not too sure, but I feel like we all are. But we're in like different locations, so we're not all neighbors or something. Even though the school started off as like a local school, we are not all exactly right next to each other. So that's kind of like the cool thing. We're different parts of Canada, all in different areas. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Ooh, that's a good color. Oh, they guess. You know what? For some reason, I guess it's more of like, let's see, what color do they use? A grayed down green for the shadows of the red flowers. That's so smart. That's so smart. Remember guys, red and green, they are complementary colors, meaning you can use them as shadows. Don't know why I didn't register for me in the beginning, where I was like, what color are they using for the shadows of these like flower petals? And it's like, they're using green. Shoulda figured that out. Shoulda called on that sooner. Ooh, this one's a tough one. These kind of shrubbery over here. It's gonna be a bit tough because they're a lot of brush strokes. A lot of brush strokes makes it a bit complicated, for sure. You did a good job. Oh, thank you. It was a chunk of progress. Yeah. You know, if I would like go all into it, and I probably would spend like 1 more hour, not to like completely replicate the piece, but to just at least capture it a little bit better. And add the eyes, like someone said, to add the eyes. Maybe I would make the eyes still very impressionistic in terms of the approach, but yeah. Okay, we got 2 more minutes. 2 minutes. We got 2 more. I have forgotten all my French. I don't know if we got any Canadians here still learning French in school, but I have forgotten all of it. Okay, maybe not all of it, but I definitely... It is a lost language Like I wouldn't even say that I can still speak it. I feel like that would just be a straight up lie. I can speak French, yeah. Baguette, the eyes. Oui, oui. Okay, that, you know, that, guys, that doesn't count. It is French, but does not count as still remembering how to speak it, for sure. Let's see. So I feel like for this pot, it's meant to be like a maybe. Okay, there's no way it's a metallic pot, but I feel like they're using a bit more of the ultramarine color. If we all to get a bit technical about it, it's using ultramarine, so it's a bit gives it a bit different of a color, hue, and feel to it, which is pretty neat. It's been a while. Frenchless to a fault. It's been a while since I took French. Yeah, I mean, I think most of my friends, like once grade 10 or grade 11 hit, no one took French anymore. It's like, because it's no longer mandatory, everybody just drops it. So, yeah, makes sense. Oh my goodness, we have 1 minute left. Okay, let me see, what can I add? Let me just like block in this one a little bit more. And let's make this one also brighter. I'm pretty sure we are up on time, but I want to really finish this one pot. This one pot over here. Just want to add in a little bit of the shrubbery. So I guess I'll do our closing statements while I'm like just trying to finish this up, but hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you guys enjoyed it, feel free to like and subscribe. Feel free to check us out on Patreon as well if you want to support us. We really appreciate any donations that you're able to give us, as it helps us continue making these kind of contents that you guys love, and we get to keep doing these live streams. And as I really enjoy doing them too, getting a chance, oh my goodness, getting a chance to talk to all of you is always great while doing these paintings and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, thank you, Sue, always for the donation. We really love it. And thank you for the donations. And I'm so sorry you had like technical difficulties, but yeah, you know what, if you guys missed it, you can always check the recording, as it'll still be here. I'll try to finish this up a little bit more, but yeah, feel free to check us out on Patreon. We got a lot of perks and specials there for like critiques and classes. If anyone wants feedback from one of us, the instructors, just to give some tips and advice on your artwork and how you can improve. And just a reminder that we're not only just a YouTube channel, but we're also an art school where we have virtual classes where we offer one-on-one critiques and feedback for anyone who wants to really push and improve their art skills. We do offer classes, so feel free to check them out. And I'm one of the instructors too, so I do teach stuff like this, background painting and drawing. Maybe not in this way, like a rushed background approach, but I would like break it down a little bit more on the different steps. But yeah, thanks a lot for the lesson. Yeah, no worries. It was great. Everyone who was able to come and hang out, it was really great talking to you guys about a lot of stuff like Ghibli and upcoming movies and everything like that. Yeah, I'm gonna try to just add a little bit more though. The artist in me is just like, no, we gotta finish some parts of these up kind of thing. So I'll be on here a little longer, kind of, maybe, I don't know. I know Joanne needs to like edit these things, so I won't stay on for too much longer, but if people want to just stay on just a little bit, you can. I just got here? Oh, no. Can I set this as my background? Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be on our Discord, so once I kind of finish it up a little bit more, I'll post it on Discord, and you can save it, and you can use it as your background if you like, which is awesome. That's so cool to hear that you want to have this as your background. That's awesome. Thank you. It's really encouraging to hear. It's so nice that someone wants to use this as their background. It's definitely, I guess, a take on the Ghibli background. This was a lot of fun. Learned a lot. Thank you. Yeah. 4 to 6:05 apparently. Hey, you know, let's. I just want to finish it up. There's a lot that I just want to like clean up a little bit, you know. We usually don't go for this long, for sure. Yeah. And let's see. I think. Okay, let me just darken these flowers. Just a little bit more. Like this patch. Oh, and these pink flowers. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're all, you know. Just like a little bit more. And then I'll end the stream soon. I just want to add these like pink flowers. These dots. Yeah. An artist's job is never done. It just keeps on going and going. Okay, cool. I guess I will end it here. This is the, I guess, how much I've gotten up to for the painting progress. I guess don't zoom in too much or you'll see all the how blurry it is. Add your own eyes. Yes, you can add your own eyes to this piece. 4 a.m. watch time. Oh my goodness, that is so early. Well, don't worry, it's recorded, so yeah. Okay. Thanks for joining, everyone. Bye. Stream for never. Art is never done. It is never finished. Okay. Draw your own face meme. That would be horrifying. Oh man. Okay. Bye. Bye-bye.